Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you all. Sheriff Sweeney, Murphy, and esteemed members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today and support H1000, a crucial bill that would prohibit insurance discrimination based on a person's status as an organ donor. This legislation is a significant step in ensuring fairness, equity, and support for those who selflessly choose to donate organs and save lives. My name is John Hoffman, and I'm the Senior Director of State Policy and Advocacy for the American Kidney Fund, an independent nonprofit that for over 50 years has helped people fight kidney disease and live healthier lives. A kidney transplant can increase the chances of living a longer, healthier life for someone with kidney disease, but the severe shortage of organs means that more than 7,000 Massachusetts residents must wait for someone to die in order to get a kidney unless they can find a living donor. Last year, living donors accounted for less than a third of Massachusetts' 617 kidney transplants. This bill could help increase the organs available for transplant by eliminating barriers that may prevent someone from becoming a living donor. This is why AKF fully supports this legislation and urges its passage. Studies have shown that people who donate organs experience discrimination by insurance companies solely based on their status as an organ donor. For example, an NIH study demonstrated that a high proportion of kidney donors had difficulty changing or initiating insurance, particularly life insurance. This study concluded that these practices by insurers create unnecessary burdens and stress for those choosing to donate and could negatively impact the livelihood of live kidney donation among those considering it. Further, extensive research has demonstrated that people who donate a kidney are likely to live just as long as similarly healthy people who have both kidneys. Imagine the burden that potential living organ donors currently face. They must already undergo a comprehensive evaluation process, undergo surgery, and go through a recovery period. They need to take leave if their employer offers it, or potentially have to miss work without pay while they recover. The last thing they should have to worry about is the potential loss of insurance coverage or exorbitant premiums that make it unaffordable to protect their own health and well-being. Organ transplantation is an extraordinary example of human compassion, scientific progress, and the power of community. By passing the Living Donor Protection Act, Massachusetts can take a significant stride in becoming a leader in promoting and protecting the rights of living organ donors. This legislation will inspire individuals to consider the life-saving act, knowing that your state firmly stands behind them, offering support and ensuring their long-term well-being. In conclusion, I urge each of you to support and advance H1000. Massachusetts should join the 30 states who have passed living donor protections and champion the rights of living organ donors, fostering a culture of gratitude and encouragement for their selfless contributions. Thank you for your attention and considering the immense importance of this bill.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Chairman Feeney, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Let me thank you also for the opportunity to speak about this important matter, increasing the pool of available kidneys to be transplanted. My name is David Walsh from the lovely city of Woburn, Mass. And on the 4th of February, 2020, I did have a kidney transplant after 4 years of doing at-home overnight dialysis. Now, when you start dialysis, it is mandatory to become part of Medicare, as Medicare picks up a substantial portion of the cost of dialysis, which is expensive. Not only is the act of dialysis with the machine and everything expensive, the medications are. While on dialysis, I was taking these pills each day, if not more. Now that I've received a kidney, I take these 2 small pills. These ones are inexpensive. These are very expensive. So let me step back. Back in when I was 23 years old, I was diagnosed with IgA nephropathy, a chronic kidney disease. And the doctors put me on a blood pressure medication and a diet of low sodium and moderate protein. That worked for most of 30 years. At 23, they had diagnosed me with about 70% kidney function. I had already lost 30% of it without even knowing it. When they when the symptoms of this disease were described to me, I was like, oh, I've probably had this since I was an adolescent. Certainly since I was 19 and failed the physical to join ROTC. But at 19, I promptly disregarded that. So once I got through school, Northeastern, I got my first job, a physical. I was diagnosed with the disease. The retinue of medication and diet worked for most of 30 years until in my early 50s, I broke my knee, which required me to be on a couch, on crutches, and a cane for most of 20 months, where I had to leave work. I had been working steadily and productively, like I said, for most of 30 years. This required me to take almost a year off. When I recovered from the knee affair, a blood clot occurred during the knee. That was why I was out so long. And I was allergic to the blood clot medication. That helped as well. Once I got back to work, of course, I had to find a new job which did not require travel. which I did work then for the next few years, productively and steadily, until at age 53, the doctors diagnosed that my kidney function had dropped from 50% down to 15%, where I was put on the kidney transplant list, and that's when I started dialysis. And I did that for most of 4 years until the autumn of October 2019. October 2019, I was definitely feeling the side effects of it and of the dialysis, where I stopped working with a mutual agreement with my employer that I could get laid off and start collecting disability. My doctor said, if you can afford it, stay out of work, as we're coming into what's called transplant season, which is the winter. Long story. So I managed to continue not working, and in February, I did receive my kidney transplant. There were a solid 3 months of recovery after that. And these 2 pills I was telling you about, these are my anti-rejection drugs, immunosuppressants. So of course, this is 2020 in the teeth of COVID on immunosuppressants. So the doctor said, do not get a job until we figure out what's going on. Autumn of 2020, I started with a position in a laboratory situation, which is very clean. I've been working there steadily and productively for almost 3 years. So what I'm going to say is, if you can increase the pool of kidneys available for transplant, I could have had a kidney earlier, which would have reduced the side effects of the dialysis and the amount of time it required for me to recover from the surgery to replace the kidney. Thank you for listening. Any questions? More than happy to answer.
Thank you. And thank you for delivering your personal testimony and sharing your story. I'm glad to hear you're doing well and here to testify this morning. So any questions, comments from members of the committee or our panel? Seeing none, thank you again for your testimony. I really appreciate it.